Dreams of Estorra was an Aphmau roleplay that was meant to be on the Aphmau Fantasy channel, or now called Aphmau Stories, and it had so much potential. Other than Mystreet and Minecraft Diaries, Dreams of Estorra was one of the roleplays that was meant to be an anime, having a mundane and uninteresting life, but then having this nerve gear type of VR headset that transport you into another world with magic and fantasy. It's great! So much can happen. So let's talk about what went wrong. Episode 1 starts off with a beautiful startup screen, which really sells you that yeah, this is a game that you could just purchase out in the open. A lot of care was put into this first few seconds, so props to Aphmau and to whoever made this. We then got a few shots of the world and cut to Aphmau chasing this mysterious person. She says her name is Rune and is apparently a thief who has stole something so she can get into the super cool thief club. Don't steal, kids, it's not worth it. Look how I turned out, I became a YouTuber. Aphmau and Rune get surrounded by boars, but gets saved by Katana Boy. We learn a bit of expedition like, oh, you only get one life, and if you die in the game, you die for real! I'm kidding. If you die in the game, then your character gets erased or something like that. I don't know, they never really explain what happens if you like can't play the game anymore, or you just have to make a new character because the old one dies and gets erased. Oh my god, look at this loading screen! It's so cool! Once again, you could just tell how much care was put into this. God, I love this so much. While walking back to the guild hall, we run into Simon, who's getting yelled at for not playing the game right apparently. I honestly love this guy. You can just tell like he wants to have fun playing the game and be in character and not just be a support class. He wants to play the game his own way and just experience the fun. We make our way into the guild and Aphmau gets a reward for a quest. It's interesting how much of the game we're being shown, with Aphmau just blurting out available quests and the bartender going on his whole Skyrim dialogue and Aphmau just asking for the information. Then knights appear and Simon saying that it's been a while since he's seen a cutscene. It's all very interesting how all this is just laying out in front of us. They all eventually go to their rooms and log off, and we finally get to see the real world. We don't really see much of it, but the little that we do see just shows how different the fantasy world is compared to our world, and why someone would never really want to leave this fantasy world. Episode 2 comes around and we see Aphmau going to her place, with some passerbyers saying, oh wow, she never leaves her room, I'm surprised I see her out, and wow, she's such a loner. I guess they can't handle all this gamer energy! Speaking of gamer, you guys should subscribe so I can get big enough to be sponsored by G Fuel so I can constantly be a gamer. And Aphmau logs back in and Simon tries to get Barman to talk about his love life, but is pulled away. Simon then talks about the NPCs, we get another loading screen and get on with the quest. And it doesn't go well. Rune just rushes in, Aphmau can't aim with her spells, and Simon won't stop hitting stuff with his guitar. Episode 3, they manage to take this beast down using a powerful strategy called Hit It Till It Dies! Yeah, beat his ass! Aphmau damages her sword, so they go to the blacksmith, but Simon stays back and realizes something very important. Woo! Let's go! We got more plots! Then they talk to the captain off screen, and apparently it didn't really go well. Oh, hey, flashback. We then get a small hint that the barman only really goes on his whole Skyrim dialogue to annoy people, so that way they walk away. It's actually pretty funny. Aphmau and friends all end up talking, and it's actually pretty wholesome. It's really nice to see, and we actually get a bit more of Aphmau's personality as she looks at the house that she wants to buy, making the audience remember her small living space back in the real world, and how she didn't seem to have any friends either, so having this moment for her is like, huge. I love this. We then get a bit of world building and how resin is used to cast spells and is that Sans? This guy tells Aph that he knows a few magic mentors and then she can go learn some stuff. The episode then ends and wait, what?
How many players did you kill today?
That's 15 players that won't be back.
And they're the same ones from 5 years ago?
Aye, sure of it.
Wait, what the? Nothing happens in episode 4 other than Aphmau gets her sword back and hangs out with Katana Boy, and Rune and Simon go on a bunch of random quests, which is actually just one quest that's making fun of other RPG quests. Katana Boy then is like, bro, you can't just buy your way to the top, that's not what being a top player is all about, bro, it's a game, calm down. Episode 5, random gamer hits on Aphmau but doesn't know that Aaron will always be there in some way, shape, or form and runs off. I kind of felt bad watching this whole scene because Aphmau explains more that she's on her own and has to take care of herself while Barman Owen says that he'll be there for her. And Aphmau and everyone just keeps spouting stuff like, he's not even real, it's a game. I mean, yeah, they know it's a game, but clearly they are more real than any other AI and NPC. Rue then shows up and shows the money that she stole from one of the NPCs, and they keep talking about how this world isn't real, and Owen kinda snaps a bit. You can tell that he's actually kind of frustrated at these players for playing around in their world. We then get an image of a girl. What Aphmau said reminded Owen of someone and has him shaken up. I honestly love all of this. Sure, there have been a bunch of wacky stuff happening, but the story threads and the small hints at something bigger just keeps it so interesting. Even rewatching this, I'm at the edge of my seat. This is great. Owen then gets ambushed because he gave these players a difficult quest and their friends died. He easily deals with them and explains that yeah, this world is all real. All of this is real. And this isn't the first time that players invaded Estorra. Owen's story and inner struggle is so strong and apparent. This is definitely one of the best episodes. Episode 6, Aphmau goes to the bar and just sits there, takes in everything and just enjoys the world around her with new eyes, a new outlook. She watches Owen and his mannerisms, now fully processing that he is definitely human and so lifelike. She's full of wonder and the music only helps with this. The same thing happens with Rune, she just stands there and watches the world around her. Simon goes to a library and checks up on the world's history. Everyone goes about the situation in their own ways that reflects their personality, even to the point where Rune kisses this guy, and that's how Aph and her both figure out that yeah, this is all real. It's dumb, but like yeah, it's in character, and it makes sense. And then this story kind of comes to a halt. For you guys that don't know, Dreams of Estorra took a small break and switched over from the Aphmau main channel to her other channel, and this is where all the problems will come in. At the end of episode 6, Rune and Aph were so excited that Estorra was real and ran to go tell Simon. You'd think that it would change the whole flow of the story, but in episode 7 we go back to shenanigans with Aphmau harassing this woman to teach her magic. I mean, there are hints here and there that yeah, it did affect them, but I don't know, I guess it's hard to follow up after all that story maybe. Plus it does make sense why we need a break from all that. Episode 7, Simon wants to mod his guitar to be a weapon. That rhymes. This was a pretty fun scene as we see the blacksmith seem very interested in what kind of metals would affect the sound of guitar. Gotta love how even though it's a weapon, you still gotta perform on your enemy's corpse. Oh yes, they shall hear the friendship song as I kill these people. Simon then learns of a place that apparently doesn't exist. When he goes to talk to Owen about it, he gets interrupted by Rune and Aphmau with a quest. I'm a little annoyed because I want more story, but I guess this is fine. They then go ahead and do this quest, and it pretty much just amounts to Aphmau and friends saying how bad it is that players do stuff only for the money. Ooh no, you can't do that. Like, I like the scene, but like, it doesn't work because the players don't know that this is real. It's just a game, so of course they're gonna be like, yeah, I gotta get new gear, I gotta get the money, you know? Like, so this whole thing is like, kind of dumb when you think about it. Episode 8, Simon asks about that place again, and the blacksmith kind of zones out and seems to almost not want to remember. Almost like it's very traumatic. More story perhaps? After that, this episode kind of gets boring real quick with Rune just wanting to find the Rogues Club and some black market plot that doesn't really amount to much either. Episode 9 is same old, other than the whole whoa talking shield, aha yeah cool. I'm noticing a little bit of a pattern here. I understand that to the players this is still a game, but I thought we'd get more hints about the story and more world building, and as they go on quests we discover more secrets about this world and stuff. There should be stakes because now we know that this is all real. If we mess up or like do something bad, that this is real, like all that should amount to something. Instead they're doing what they were already doing before, and when the story wants to come in, it gets interrupted by a random quest with shenanigans. I can tell that they try to do a lot with the whole black market episode, but it still just felt like a silly quest because there was no real stakes. It just felt like a Saturday morning cartoon where it's like yeah, at the end of the day it was all fine. Episode 11 comes around and shows real possibilities for a story with these guys wanting the shield and whatever evil business and plans this guy has they want to do, you know, like the big evil like, oh I can't let you go alive and I'm gonna blow up the planet. Well, at least it's a plot hook and not filler. We then cut back to the real world and Aph is behind on rent, and then some random expedition about wow, Aph is all alone and an orphan. Honestly, I feel like this would have hit a lot harder if we learned this from Aphmau herself. Maybe have a very vulnerable scene that she's telling with her party, like Simon and Rune and even Owen. I feel like that would have been a lot better instead of having this whole thing's told by some random extra. I don't know who this person is, but apparently they've been watching Aphmau, and honestly I don't care. And then we cut back and wow, evil man is super evil. Whoa, do your job correct. And then episode 12. Episode 13, undressed in a cave? Episode 14, no butts. A hot spa day. What is any of this? Honestly, what happened to the plot? I know this can't be Minecraft Diaries, but you can't just throw in a bunch of hooks for deep storytelling and then just go on wacky adventures. I started watching these episodes on 2x speed because literally nothing happened and I just started skipping a bunch. I'm not sure if the writers just didn't know how to continue on or they were just confused on whether they wanted a fun series or something more serious. Because as I said, whenever they had a chance to learn more about the world and explore more about the history, instead we get scenes like this. Scenes like, oh, Simon is naked and trying to get into the girls' changing room. Haha, that's funny, right? This is what you guys want to see? No, I don't. I don't know. I'm just disappointed, honestly. I really wanted to see where things would go, but it always comes back to stuff like this. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I like these adventures, but it just feels like we're just forgetting about the whole story, about everything that just happened previously. And now we're just doing these, like, Saturday morning cartoon episodes where, yeah, they're connected, but, like, you could just watch an episode and have a good time. I didn't really want that when I came into this. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but just really sad that it came to this. I was so excited to rewatch this, and I was so hyped when Owen was talking about the world. I was invested. But now when I watch these episodes, I'm just bored. It's very upsetting. Especially with clicking on the next episodes, I'm just seeing the decrease in views till we get to the last episode that was ever posted. It's really sad because the views only started decreasing when these problems started showing up, meaning that everything was fine. But I don't know why they end up changing stuff.